Hello everyone, this is my applied assignment for SVE 223 and my name is Selene Bremer. This is our table of contents. The pre-work is people with disability are the most marginalized group in our society, and access to equitable education is crucial to bridge the gap. The research is increasing positive attitude towards individual with disability through community service learning. The new learning, I learned so much, but here's a highlight. Schools are not prepared to accommodate people with disabilities. And society views disability as an enormous barrier for inclusion. And people with disability lacks a strong voice. Continuing inquiry is how can society view of people with disability be changed to achieve full inclusion? I'm going to start with pre-work. My topic will be education for people with disabilities. And why? Because my previous and future career track is in education, is in early childhood education. And I do strongly believe that by preparing preschoolers to have a different view on how on people with disability will change the lives of people with disability. And the aspect of inclusion is equitable education. For the assignment, I will be interviewing a friend's sister. At the age of 21, she became a quadriplegic as a result of a car accident. And the background knowledge is I knew of her disability due to my friendship with this girl. Now to the evidence. My first question was to describe her disability and how old she was when the accident happened. And she said that she had an injury of quadriplegia and she broke her neck, C5 and C6 location. She was 20 years old and she was in college. She was in a community college. She was working, living her best life, trying to learn about herself. And the accident really changed her life. The second question is how long it took for her to get back to school. She said it took her 3 years to adjust to her new life, and that her father really encouraged her to go back to school. She said the transition, it wasn't easy to going back to school. She went to Quest Community College first, and first she has to register with a disability service on campus and learn about a special accommodation. She says she was very surprised to find out how much accommodation she needed. You know, how to maneuver her wheelchair on campus. She needed to power her wheelchair, how long would take from the parking lot to class. So she had to navigate through all these issues. We continued talking about her transition, and she said that every time she would go in a classroom, she would have to move to a bigger classroom, or they would have to move the desks around to fit her wheelchair. And if another class came in and moved the chairs around, so they would have to repeat process the next day when she came. So that was a little challenging. The school also didn't have a note-taking person. So sometimes didn't always have. They had a sometimes. So sometimes she didn't have a person to take notes for her. She would have to ask her classmate. And in her own words, that she felt very vulnerable um, when she had to do that. She would say in her own words is, "Hi, I'm the disabled person who needs always help," and then hope that someone would help. And she usually said that one or two people raised their hands, but it wasn't an overwhelming, hands raised to help her. So she felt always very vulnerable and not great about that. And taking tests is also a challenging, because she couldn't take in a classroom with her peers. She would have to move to a place, because she gives the answer to the person helping her, and out loud. So they would have to go to another class in order to take the test. And she would have to schedule all that. The school did not facilitate for her. My next question was, what's inclusion education to you? And she responded that inclusion means the educational system and all sorts of different systems already having the education and the knowledge to set up for equality with those who don't have disability. Um, so she said that it's very important to have that information and knowledge. So it's already set up. So the people with disability don't have to keep coming to teach them how to be equal with a non-disabled counterpart. The next question was, what was the biggest challenge in school? And she said, always being the one needing to ask for help. So I think that was made so she felt disconnected from her peers. She missed the part of the social part of being in school. She felt alone. She said that developing a relationship was very not developing relationships in a classroom was very hard for her. She felt alone, and she said that she loves engaging with people. She's a social person. She's fun, and her peers really had a hard time coming up to her and asking her anything, any questions. So it was difficult for her not creating relationships, which is really sad. My next question was, what was your biggest reward? And she said 100%. Her best reward was the ability to take care of herself financially. She was in great, when she got in a car accident, she was in great fear of being dependent of her family and end up in a home, assisted living home. And she has her own place, she has her own business, she became a therapist, and that was her biggest reward. My next question, what does she hope for the future of people with disability? And she said to continue the service they already have, and continue learning about people with disability, because she said there's so many disabilities out there that people need to learn about each specific disability to better serve them. She said that when she was in school, they did interviews with her, and she said that she loved the interviews, because it was an opportunity for her to, to help the school how to help her. Um, and she also really would like for to spread the learning, so people, different group of people can understand and be somewhat relatable. So this is our interview. link. And now to new learnings. I learned a lot in this class. Um, but here are a couple things that really stood out for me. That lack of transportation is a leading barrier to employment, healthcare, and community inclusion for people with disability, which they make a lot of sense to me. If they can't get into a subway, bus, any public transportation, how can you go to work, to school, to doctor's appointment? It's impossible. And the society attitudes can negatively impact persons with disability. Um, that is so true. The interview with my friend that really opened my eyes to how lonely they must feel if people are afraid to approach them, have a conversation. She said that she preferred people coming to her and asking any stupid thing than to completely ignore her and pretend she doesn't exist. And I also included the 10 ways to make society more inclusive for people with disability. And the couple things that relate to education is, you know, integrate disability history in school curriculums. I love that. I'm a true believer that everyone should take this class in college and promote social inclusion in schools. Um, how the people with disability is portrayed in the media, it really needs a shift. So better representation will also help them. Here are a few questions for my peers. How have your attitude towards people with disability changed after this class? And how can you apply the knowledge acquired in this class to help the people with disability? What can you contribute for that? And here's a list of my favorite readings and everything that I used for this presentation. And I hope everyone had enjoyed this class and good luck.